Hey everyone, I hope that you all had a great week. I want to take a couple of minutes, give you a quick update on what happened in Washington, D.C. this week. Got my boy Maverick with me, always happy to have my kids with me. Did you have fun this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, did anything memorable?
Mm-hmm.
What?
We saw Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, well she runs around here. What was memorable about that?
She gave you a bad look.
She gave me a bad look?
Yeah.
Why, what did it look like? It looked like crossed eyes?
Yeah.
All right, so it wasn't a nice look.
No.
Yeah, well, she doesn't like freedom-loving Americans, so that might be why. Yeah. Anything else memorable?
Well, the yellow sign. A yellow sign.
What did it say?
Like, O-U-C.
You're close. It said caution AOC, which here is architect of the Capitol, but we read that a little bit differently, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I'm glad to have you this week. All right, everybody. So, I want to get into some of the stuff that happened, but before I get into everything that happened in Washington, D.C. this week, I want to express my condolences. My condolences to everybody in Florida and even around the country that were impacted by the Surfside condominium collapse. There are people that are from that building that are not just from Florida but from other places, and so this is something that's affecting people around our country. My prayers are with the families who are struggling to make sense of this tragedy, and my gratitude goes out to all of the first responders who have been working tirelessly to save any life possible. And that's what we do. That's what we do as Americans, and it makes us proud. Now, as you may know, President Biden announced several months ago that he was going to be drawing down U.S. military operations in Afghanistan. However, in doing that, we need to make sure of a couple things, that we're not forgetting the Afghan interpreters and those that worked forward deployed with places like myself who aided our troops in the war on terror. Now, as a veteran who served in Afghanistan in the highest level of military special operations, I worked closely with a lot of these interpreters and others that were on the front lines with us on a nightly basis, putting themselves at risk, putting their families at risk, helping us to navigate throughout the country, the battlefield, their backyards. They were essential to the success of the missions that we were going out there trying to do. This service was at great personal risk, not just to themselves, but to their children, to their spouses, to other people that they knew, their neighbors. The Taliban, Al-Qaeda, they don't care. If they don't like them, if they don't like the fact that they were working with us, they will do what they can to kill those individuals, and they will do it as publicly as possible as a warning to others that would go out there and aid the United States of America. Now, they're still facing very real threats from the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and others as a result. That's why I, along with a bipartisan group of my colleagues, we wrote a letter this week urging the Biden administration to make processing the what's known as the special immigrant visas, the applications that these individuals have to go through, to make them a priority. Now, to date, there are over 18,000 applications awaiting processing. These individuals that have worked with us over the last 20 plus years in that war on terror. That's how many are awaiting processing right now. Now, while the law requires them to be processed within 9 months, current wait times span years. The longer that we delay, the longer those that helped us are now put at risk as we are leaving that battle space. And we say this very seriously: no man left behind. We don't leave our men behind. That's a promise that we need to keep. On the other hand, we need to do more to stand up to our rivals and our enemies. And that's some of the legislative work that we were supposedly working on this week, but not, in my opinion, able to accomplish. I sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and we worked on a piece of legislation known as the Eagle Act. And as they call it, it's supposed to be Congress's answer to the threat posed by China. But unfortunately, this is a messaging bill at best, and the message is not even that strong, as it does nothing to actually counter China's rising influence and their aggression. Now, let me be clear. China has to be held accountable for a lot of different things, from obstructing investigations into the origins of COVID-19 and very likely the active development of COVID-19, to stealing American intellectual property, whether you're talking about plans for an F-35 or other things from private businesses, to engaging in blatant, horrific human rights abuses. Their actions, they have consequences. And this bill doesn't cut it. And to be more concrete, I introduced, and a number of my colleagues introduced, a number of different amendments that you just have to scratch your head and say, how in the world were some of these amendments not accepted? Amendments supporting the freedom of Tibet, as an example, supporting Uyghurs, declassifying intelligence on the origins of coronavirus and the Wuhan Institute of Virology, that we the people, have access to read and understand that information of what's happened with COVID-19, or prohibiting the National Institutes of Health from giving grants to people conducting research in China. That's your tax dollars. Those grants, that's your dollars. You went to work, money came out of your pocket, your wallet, went to the National Institute of Health, and was sent off to China. So they didn't want to put things in this bill that says, no, we're going to make sure that no money goes to China through NIH, making sure that China isn't able to take advantage of the U.S. in trade agreements. We know that they're the second largest economy out there on the globe, and they take advantage of trade agreements by calling themselves a developing nation. They are anything but a developing nation. If we're serious about taking on China, we have to be united. And so I hope that House Democrats will work with us to actually address the problems. And this is one of the biggest problems that exists. You know, it was said by some of the members on the committee, oh, we tried to work on this. They didn't try. There wasn't a time that we've sat down as the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee and sat down with the Pentagon and sat down with the State Department and those that work out of Quantico, Virginia, and our intelligence agencies and others, and all sat around with a whiteboard, beer, and pizza for late night hours working on all of this. This was done totally partisanly, without taking very common sense suggestions that would have worked to actually combat China. That didn't occur. And we, the people of the United States, each and every one of you out there across this country, you deserve better from this place. It pains me, it upsets me more than anything that that's not the way that this place operates. I've seen the best out of our country. I've seen what it really looks like when people go out there and try, the can-do attitude of Americans. And what happened with this is absolutely not that. Now, I want to end on a positive note because we're moving into the greatest American holiday. I like to think it's one of the greatest holidays for the world, and that is to celebrate our country's independence. That is a hope for the rest of the world, what America went through to establish our independence. I hope that you all have a great Independence Day, a great holiday weekend, time with your family, reflecting on what this is all about, what we should never take for granted. And in that, I hope to see you all around, and I hope that you all have a great weekend and a great week ahead. Take care.